What's up, people? Perry here with another Ask Perry. It's been a while since I've done one of these question and answers things. I've backed up a whole bunch of questions that you guys have asked me in previous episodes that I've done, so it may take a little while for me to get to some of them, but they are kind of on the back burner, and I am thinking of different ways of presenting it to you guys and how best to answer your question. But for today's question, and if you have a question yourself, go ahead and put it in the comments down below. But for today's question, we are going with Nick Yelovich, and he asks, could you help me out with building dome shapes? Well, Nick, it's actually pretty easy to make dome shapes, and there is a specific website that you can go to. It's called plots.co.uk. You can see it on the screen there, and also I'll leave a link down in the description below. But they give a pretty intuitive approach to how you can make a circle. They have little sliders everywhere where you can kind of adjust things and see the different slices that it takes to make a circle or a sphere, in this case what we're going to be making. So basically how I do it, and if I don't have MC Edit, I kind of build it sort of like this. We start from the ground, and of course using the plots website that gives us that diagram of what we need to do, how to arrange the blocks, and then we go up in different slices like so. And eventually we get to the end and we have our own completed sphere. So it's pretty easy. Go to that plots.co.uk website. Pretty handy. I use it all the time when I'm not building with MC Edit. Highly recommend it. But I thought, let's go take it a little bit further. Let's see if we can build a nice, decent looking dome that's not too hard to make. And this is what I came up with. Pretty cool if I do say so myself. It's a pretty simple structure. The real key element about it is that we have this sort of thing that goes up to the middle there, gives it a bit of symmetry and cohesion to the whole project, and it's got a nice dome shape to it. I think it does. And so we're going to learn how to build this today, and hopefully if you guys follow along with the steps, you'll be able to do this yourself too. So why don't we just get started? Alright, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is to find a suitable dome shape for yourself. Now, most domes, you can make them a shallow dome, meaning there's not that much height to them, or you can make them very deep. And the only real reasoning behind why you would make something really deep or really shallow is to kind of convey either you want to put something on the dome of the roof, in which case you should make it real shallow so that you can see it. It's much more easier for the eye to process. Or if you want to convey size, it's usually best to make a nice open dome. The larger the better, or the higher the better, and that can kind of convey that sense of space. But for our purposes, I went with a medium-sized dome. It's pretty much a regular sized dome. This isn't anything too special, but I would recommend not going any smaller than this. This is about 31 blocks in diameter. Well, it is 31 blocks in diameter and about 16 blocks high. And you use the plots website in order to build a sphere or a ellipsoid. I think those are the links that you can use in order to build your sphere. And basically you just cut it in half, and there you go. You got yourself a dome. So it's pretty easy. The next thing that we're going to have to do is to determine where the pillars or supports are going to be. And for that, that's going to be real easy. All we have to do is to determine the center of our dome, and that's marked off by these quartz blocks right here. But now we have to figure out where our pillars go, and it's a pretty simple way of doing it, and it's something that I've kind of developed over time, and it helps me to kind of determine where to put the pillars in sort of an even type format. So all you have to do is count off from the center. We're going to count off 2 blocks, so this starts off as 1, then we'll count off 2, and then we'll move over 1 block, and then count off 3, and then again with 2, then with 3, 2, and then 3. And I believe we are at the edge of the dome, which is perfect. And that's all you have to do. Just follow that step And there you go. You have where your first support is going to be. It's going to be right at the end of this tip here. And all we have to do is do it for the other side. There we go. And then, of course, echo it to all 4 sides of the area. And there we go. It's not exactly perfect, but it'll do for our purposes, and it seems to be a little bit even. So the next thing that we want to do is that now that we have our plots for where the pillars are going to be, all we have to do is put in the pillars. So this is basically where you want to set the footprint of your pillar, right there, and then just echo it all the way around. And now all we have to do is to extend the pillars up. And you can see that I've used this blue stained clay here. Of course, it really is up to you what type of block you use to design your dome. All these colors can be substituted with your imagination, of course. Doesn't really matter what block you use as long as they kind of go together. And if they don't go together, who cares? You know, it's your dome. Whatever floats your boat, right? And now we have our basic shape for our dome with all its supports in it. But now we need to add in a little bit more of a detail in order to kind of bring everything together. And how we do that is to add in the supports, or what should be supports, in the middle of the dome, just to give it that extra detail to it and to tie in the pillars with the rest of the dome structure. So how we do that is that we have our original guides here for where we set out our pillars. And by the way, if you're wondering why I went with 3x3 pillar, well, 1x1 probably, or a 1 block pillar probably would look a little bit too flimsy for our liking, and going with a 5 block diameter pillar probably would look a little bit too fat for this. So I went with 3x3. Of course, your opinions may differ, and feel free to go with whatever you so desire. But now we need to make our supports for the middle here. And in order to do that, we go back to our original guides, and because these pillars are 3 blocks wide, we want to go ahead and try to mirror that onto our guides right here. And how we do that is we just add on a block to each side. So with the blue block in the middle, the blue wool block, we add green to the outside here. This is just for a guide. Don't worry about what color that these are. But we want to echo that going all the way up. So we just put green blocks on either side of the blue blocks. And so once that's done, once we have our pattern all sorted out, now we have to extend this pattern up onto the dome itself. Now how I do that is I basically just stand right on the block that I want to put onto the dome, and I just jump up like so, and I place that block and move over one, place another block, and so on and so on. Now you'll notice that they're not really tied together, and they're supposed to be support pillars that go all the way up to the middle. So how we accomplish that is just to add in the missing blocks in the middle like so. And of course, when you get to areas like these, you want to try and just cover up those white blocks just like that. And then it's all a process of repeating what I just did. So we're going to do that, and then move over one block, and like so. And then you want to extend these blocks, and again you want to try and cover up the white blocks going down vertically like that. And when it's all done, you come up with something like this. Now it is a bit of a process in order to transfer this pattern onto the roof of the dome itself, but I do promise you that the results are pretty spectacular. And I did have to go about doing the same thing to the top of the roof, and that's all about taking this pattern, putting it up here, and then placing the blocks where they need to go. So that's going to be it for this episode of Ask Peri. Thank you so much for your question, Nick. Of course, this is a really basic setup, so really you could take this and make it into whatever your imagination desires. Lots of things that you could do with it. Something maybe like this. But that's going to be it for this episode, of course. And if you have a question yourself, don't forget to leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you so choose. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So that's it for me. Always remember, keep your head up. And I'll see you in the next one.